Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another one of Nuvision's online banking webinar. And today we have some really exciting features and benefits to speak to you about. And before we begin, let's start with some introductions. I'd like to hand over to Erica first.
Hello, I'm Erica Williams. I am Digital Senior Specialist from sitting here in beautiful Anchorage, Alaska. Current weather is sunny with 66 degrees. And I have been with Denali, now Nuvision, over 16 years. I am one of the original e-girls, as in electronic, the e-services and e-delivery. But I started in the branch at the Financial Center back in 2005, and still helping our members from where I sit right here. And I'm glad to see y'all coming in.
Thanks, Erica. And I'm Baron Conway. I have the pleasure of heading up the digital group as well as product management. And I actually just passed my 2-year anniversary with Nuvision. I think my 2-year anniversary was the 26th of August. So a couple of days ago. So again, looking forward to, and I'm based down in, at the moment, I'm based down in Southern California, although I've spent a fair bit of time up in Alaska. Very much looking forward to today. So let's move on forwards. So what will we be covering today? So we're going to focus in on really one broad area. So we're going to take a deep dive look at the new navigation and look and feel you're going to start to see from September. And we're super excited about this because we think it's going to ultimately deliver a better experience. It's going to be easier to use, and then it presents a little brighter, more engaging look and feel. And of course, following on from that, we're going to have a nice Q&A session. So I encourage you all to think about the types of questions you want to ask, and Erica and I are here to do our best to answer them as accurately and succinctly as possible. So quick reminder, I'm only going to spend a minute or two on this, but this is the next couple of slides are super important for you and for us, right? Security and fraud prevention, that's a joint responsibility. We do everything we can to make sure your information and data is secure and protected. And there's also a responsibility on yourselves. So we really ask you guys to be aware of what's going on around you and be cautious and careful. And in particular, right, you will only ever see a code from us based on something you've initiated. We never will randomly send you something. So always bear that in mind. And I think secondly, and this is also really key, if you feel you've received something and you're not clear, or you didn't request it, or this is something that confuses you and you're uncomfortable by it, please reach out to us and we will do our best to help you and make sure that everything is okay. And secondly, there's a few things you can also do that help you and us make sure that you're as protected as possible. Number one, activate your alerts and notifications. This provides you a great real-time snapshot. So if anyone somehow gets hold of some information or a card of yours and starts using something, you will see straight away and you will know about it. Update your profile. So that is really making sure your contact information, your phone number, email, etc., is as up-to-date as possible, so that if we need to contact you or you need to contact us, it's a seamless and easy transition and conversation. And of course, make sure your username and password are unique, and especially that password. And finally, go paperless, right? Paper statements, easy to get lost in the mail. When you go paperless, you're in control of your data. So those are the three things we implore you guys, all you folks, all to do for us and for yourselves. So moving forwards, let's now talk about the new and improved navigation experiences. So over the past several months, our team has been diligently working behind the scenes to tweak and enhance and sort of rethink our online banking menu layout and look and feel. Now, I really want to stress here, these are, aesthetic upgrades that will improve navigation, make the navigation look and feel consistent with industry best practices, and also set us up for a great sort of platform for leaping forward as new enhancements and improvements come along in the months and years ahead. And we definitely have, as we go into 2022 and beyond, some exciting things we're going to be doing. So how does this new navigation and this new look and feel impact you? So before we jump into actually what it looks like, let's stress a few things. You're not losing any new features whatsoever, right? Everything that you currently have will stay the same. All of the capabilities and features don't go away. And in fact, you're actually going to be getting a few new ones later in the year. And we'll spend a bit of time towards the end of this presentation, the end of this webinar, talking about that. The only thing that's really changing is your navigation. So beyond the look and feel in terms of a color palette is your navigation. So that's really moving from a vertical layout on your desktop to a horizontal layout. And some of the menu items on both the desktop and the mobile device, your mobile app, will be moved around a little bit so that we can create a more sort of logical experience. The rest of your screens, though, sort of the layout of the actual main pages, remain unchanged. So as I mentioned, we've improved the color palette, and our whole intent here is to add a little bit more modernity and a little bit more brightness to those screens. So it's a little bit clearer and easier to find the pieces of information you're looking for. And finally, we're busy working on a new help feature, which should be available soon, which is going to help with this transition. So it will be a little bit more of an interactive help where when you're looking at something and you'll see some additional information to help you understand what's changed and what you're looking at. And of course, once we've got past this phase, we're going to start using these guides for additional areas in the future. And we're super excited about this new feature and this new capability. So moving forwards, let's start with a recap. Let's start with your screens today. So these should be completely familiar with you, both the Denali mobile app and the desktop. And you can see here, the key thing is this horizontal this vertical navigation. I'm getting myself tongue-tied. This vertical navigation, and as I stressed here, right, the area here is not changing. The area here is not changing. It's only your navigation areas. So now let's start moving forwards to what is it going to look like. So here is this new look and feel. So you can see a few things here straight away. First off, as we move towards integrating ourselves into a single branded entity, you can see here the team have done a fantastic job of creating this overall sort of logo image around Nuvision Alaska. So trying to keep our connection nice and tight to Alaska. The other thing you'll start to see here is this on your mobile app. Your vertical navigation has been streamlined and simplified, and we'll get into those details a little bit as well. And then across here on the desktop, you can see our color palette has slightly changed. Things are a little bit brighter. It's a little bit easier to see. We've brought in a little bit of nicer imagery. And then across the top here, you can see the new horizontal navigation. And again, it's been streamlined, and we're going to go through each of these items over the next several slides. And then finally, this section here, which is also the same as this section here, the more, this is unchanged. So this remains exactly the same as it currently is. So now let's move forwards and take a moment to start looking at the specifics around each of these items and what's changed. And now what we've done here is, and actually this is just a quick snapshot. So what you can see here is across both the mobile navigation and the desktop navigation, this is just a quick summary, and we're going to go into the details that show across each area what is in each area. So each of the sub capabilities or features or menu items. So now what we're going to do is go into each of these and describe it in a little more detail. We're going to start with the mobile view and then move to the desktop view, because we know for the most part, you spend most of your time in the mobile view. So we wanted to start there first. So here are the areas that we're going to look at, right? Those are aligned with what you've seen so far. Now let's move forwards. Okay, so let's start here. We're going to start in a very simple place, right? On the mobile app, current versus new. So here, to get to your main view, which you can see underneath, right? Usually, and historically, or now, as it were, you click the home button. What's changed a little bit is under the new navigation, you would tap My Accounts and you would tap Account Summary, and that will take you to exactly the same place. Similarly, on the desktop, your desktop was there. It's now just going to be under My Accounts, Account Summary, and it will bring you always from wherever you are, it will bring you back to this main screen, whether you're on your mobile app or on your desktop experience. Now let's talk about secure messages. So on the mobile, you can see currently it's in the second space. On the mobile app, we've actually moved it here to under support. And the rationale here is, the odds are what we wanted to try and do was organize the menuing so that the areas you're most likely to use and interact with appear first. And those items that you're less likely to interact with on a sort of daily basis go a little bit further down. And under support, we've added secure messages. And that's also going to be an area where, as we continue to evolve with new capabilities and new ways of engaging, we're going to expand what's in the support area. And more of that will follow soon. Similarly, with the desktop, you can see here was your secure messages, and there, quite simply across your horizontal nav, support, secure messages are there. So moving on. Transactions. Now, transactions have very slightly been reorganized. Now, transactions here on your existing app, you can see you have this flow by clicking on that little arrow or that caret. Here, when you click on it, it's actually called pay and transfer. And we've described it that because we felt that that was a more accurate reflection of the types of activities that you are all taking out. And you can see, for the most part, all these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 5, are all the same. They're slightly reorganized, but you can see where each of those areas are. It's still there. The one thing we have moved is this under My Accounts, the Add Verify External Accounts has moved to there. And that's because, we felt that this was a deeper reflection to, a specific account activity. It's also something you're less likely to do, right? This is something you'll do once or twice or occasionally to add, let's say, accounts you may have with other financial institutions. And once you've done it, you're less likely to go back to it. Whereas here are the types of activities you're going to be doing on a much more, daily, weekly, monthly basis. Similar to the mobile app, you can see a similar view on the desktop. Again, under pay and transfer, right, which is how we've relabeled transactions, you can see the items. And the only thing that's moved is the Add Verify External Account that's under My Accounts. We'll come to wire transfers a little bit later on. So My Loan Office, this is unchanged for those folks who are familiar with this. Clicking this takes you out to a whole new page that you will see if you have pre-approved, credit card or vehicle loan offers, you will see that. And it also gives you an opportunity to apply for loans as well. But this is unchanged, still called the same. It has the same description and goes to the same place. Similarly, on the desktop, while it was here on your vertical nav, on the horizontal nav, it's there nice and front and center for you guys to see that. Moving on, so e-notifications. So what we've done here is a slight modification. So, your e-statements and letters basically now fall under services as online statements, and your e-alerts are actually notifications now. So a slight change in the description here. So these two things, e-alerts are your notifications. Now, please bear in mind, as we do this update, nothing is going to change. So any of the what you would call alerts, but are now going to be called notifications that are already set up, migrate over. So there's going to be no change to your current setup. Whatever alerts and notifications you have will move over with you as we do this this conversion or this update. Similarly, with the desktop, you can see a very similar setup, right? Here's the vertical nav, here's the horizontal nav under services. You can see those services, the top two, online statements and notifications. Moving on, so wires. So here in the past, I believe that, wires have been sort of integrated under business services. And what we've done here is we've decided to sort of pull it out and actually add it on the mobile app under pay and transfer. Again, we felt this was a more logical and intuitive capability because it is effectively a form of movement of money from one location to another. So this is going to fit here, and also this works really well as we start to expand this whole pay and transfer area with new capabilities that we should be rolling out in 2022. Similarly, on the desktop side, where we have this ACH payments and wires, wire transfers are here. Everything's still going to work the same. Any wires you have set up that you sort of do on an ongoing basis, they will be saved, they'll be there for you to use. So everything is moving over exactly as you have it right now. Locations. So here you have it straight into your main menu on the mobile app. For us, we've actually taken it and moved it a little bit onto further down into services under ATM and branch locations. And we did that because we started looking at the data, and this was one of those features that, while used, was not used as regularly as at all. So what we decided to do was just put it a little bit further into the system, and it fits within sort of the types of services, right? So we could free up the space and make it easier to interact around some of those other areas. The desktop, very similar type of thing. We've taken locations here, and we've moved it under services. Still will work exactly the same way. So now let's go into the biggie, right? This is one of those areas where there's been a little bit of movement. So under what you currently, the current app within the North is called services. Okay, we've split it across a few different areas. So under account summary, right, what we had, what you had further, so like mortgage information or my credit card and my investment services. Now my credit card, my mortgages, my investment services are the key points under account summary. And then the other areas stay within our updated and revised services area. So you can see them all there. So all those items, all 10 of them are mirrored. They're just in slightly different places. And again, similarly with the desktop, right? You have these 10 items. They've all moved into either the account summary, where it's actually looking at account information, or services, where you are going to engage in something on a, you're going to set something up, and you may come back to it occasionally, but you're not going to be using it necessarily on a regular or day-to-day set of activities. Now, the only thing that we have changed here is number 6. So number 6 here is mobile deposit enrollment. So we've actually taken that out of the desktop experience, and that now only exists in the app experience, okay, on the mobile experience. So that makes the most sense, because it's within your mobile device, your app or your mobile browser, that you'll be able to do this mobile deposit capability, mobile check deposit capability. Now settings, you can see here we have half a dozen settings on the current Denali app, and what's changed here is under settings, most of them are moved over. They're also there in settings, and the only thing we've moved is alerts. So again, we have this notion of notifications and alerts, and so those have now been moved under services, and they sit just under notifications. So they're grouped together, so it becomes a little bit more logical for when you are setting stuff up, or you want to make changes, or you want to sort of edit things. They're going to be in the same place and nice and easy for you to find under services. Similarly with desktop, a similar type of layout. Settings, we have all the sort of the 5 main settings, and then the only one we've moved is alerts, so it's under services, something that's tied, to notifications and easier to sort of do all in one place. So rates. So a slight change here. So under your current navigation, rates were called out individually, and each of those took you to a different page on our marketing website. So in your case, the Denali website, which will soon become the combined Nuvision website. Here, what we've done is we've simplified it. You will click onto this, and it opens up the rates page on our marketing site. And from there, you'll be able to select a specific category and go into it. Similarly for the desktop, same type of concept. You have your rates here. We've kept it under services now versus having it set out separately. And it will take you to our marketing site, where a new page will be opened, and you'll be able to select specific categories of rates. So member service agreements, things like the consumer MSA or your CCPA notice, etc. All of that now has been moved from its own separate area under services, and you can see we now have a disclosure section and a CCPA notice. So very similar, just it's been a little bit more integrated and collapsed into the services menu to free up some space and make it a little bit more intuitive in where to find items. Similarly, with the desktop, we see the same type of concept. So we've moved stuff around a little bit. Disclosures are now under services, and you still see your CCPA notice. And then finally, log off, which is more or less in the same place. It's the last item. Nothing there changes. You'll still click on it, and it will log you off from your mobile app session or your desktop session. You can see it's nice and clear there along the top. So to recap, I think what you'll see is while the navigation has shifted a little bit, it's still very intuitive. We think it gives us an opportunity to really scale our capabilities, and we believe it's a cleaner look and feel. And of course, it's probably going to take you a little bit of time to get used to it, but after using it for a few times, we feel confident that you're actually going to enjoy this experience a lot more than the current one. Now, some new features that are coming in December or towards the end of the year. So there's actually a few that I'm going to sort of speak to. So live chat within Q2 is going to be launched for all of you during December. So that will mean you'll be able to be on your desktop or your mobile app, and you'll be able to click on it. And if you want to speak to someone in one of our member representatives in the contact center through chat, you'll be able to do that in real time from December. So we're very excited about that new feature. There's also what we're launching as well soon in under the My Accounts. I don't have it highlighted here. Is for those folks who want to apply for a mortgage with us, we're going to have a apply for a mortgage feature, and that opens up our mortgage experience. And what it will do is because it's within our Q2 or our online banking experience, it will actually pre-populate some of your profile and contact information, so to make that whole application process a little bit easier and a little bit faster for you. So that's another new feature that will be coming by the end of this year.